Are you sick and tired of homeowners associations like most people are that try to tell you everything you're supposed to do when you thought you lived in the CCP? Well, guess what? I'm going to tell you today about places in Prescott Valley that don't have an association, or they're really tiny that they don't dictate your life. So stay tuned, grab your chips and salsa, and join me on Movenomics. Hello and welcome to Movenomics. I'm Peter Fife with Coldwell Banker Northland in beautiful Prescott, Arizona, where Prescott is everybody's hometown. Today, we're going to have the second part of talking about subdivisions in Prescott Valley. Now, the first part, you can go back and look at that, were full service homeowner associations that had the pools and all that stuff that you like to be involved with. Today, we're going to talk about either no HOAs or those HOAs which are there just to maintain the roads, very minimal. So we're going to cover the rest of Prescott Valley today so you can have a full grasp of exactly what you're looking at in Prescott Valley. So let's get started. First, let's talk about those areas that have no association at all. Now, Prescott Valley, if you look at Prescott Valley on a satellite view, I've had a lot of people ask me this question. It looks like a Swiss cross. It looks like the Swiss flag. It's really weird. People go, "Are you guys religious there or something? Is this about, you're religious?" I mean, no, it has nothing to do with it. It has to do with state trust land that they just haven't sold. So there's a state trust land here, over here, and over here, and over here. So it looks like a cross, okay? All of those homes in that cross are not an association. Most of them were built anywhere between 70s on the old, all the way up to 2001, 2. You'll find a few scattered in there that are builds that were just leftover lots that they built on recently. But the majority of the homes in there run between the early to mid 90s to late 90s to early 2000s. That's the vast majority of the homes in there. Now, they're really creative in Prescott Valley on naming their subdivisions. Really creative. Okay. Are you ready for this? Prescott Valley 1, Prescott Valley 2, Prescott Valley 3. All the way up to Prescott Valley 20. Shocking, I know, isn't it? Isn't it just like, who had that genius idea to be so creative? So it's 1 to 20. Now, the good news is, generally speaking, the higher the number, the newer the portion. So Prescott Valley 20 was one of the last ones that they did, and Prescott Valley 19 as well. 19 and 20, they have about quarter-acre lots, pretty nice homes in there, semi-customs, because they were built onesie-twosies. There was never a big developer that just went in there and hammered them all out. So it has a lot of character. Prescott Valley 19 is a little flatter than Prescott Valley 20, where you can fit a lot of RV parking in there. So most of the ones in Prescott Valley 19, which are closer to Glassford Hill and Highway 89 on the north side. Prescott Valley 20 is on the far east end of that cross. You can get some good views there, though, because it has a lot of hills. Some are single families with RV parking there. The one thing on 20 that they did mix in is they did mix in some duplexes and some, almost just duplexes, no triplexes that I know of. And that's a decent area because they're intermixed sometimes with some of the houses. A lot of times the duplex, triplex, fourplex areas are all conglomerated into one big group, and you end up with a low-end rental area, which comes with everything that a low-end rental area comes with. However, in Prescott Valley 20, that's not the case. So if you're looking to buy maybe an investment property, Unit 20 is a great place to invest in, especially if you want to live in half of it and rent the other half out to kind of save some money. Got a lot of people try to do that, because prices are so high. That's a good idea. Now, we're going to move on to the next subdivision. There's another couple areas that don't have associations. There's one called Linkx Lake Estates, which off of Glassford Hill on the west side of Prescott Valley. It's kind of behind that Fry's shopping center. They have half-acre lots. They have homes that go anywhere from the 70s all the way up to 2005, 6, and there was a couple that were built in the last 10 years. And I mean like 2, 3, 4. Not a whole lot. Okay. So but they're nice homes, custom homes, and big lots, RV parking, RV garages often in there. And it's about the first 5, 6, 7 streets. After that, you run into 2 other areas. Now, the 2 other areas you run into are Castle Canyon Estates and Prescott East. Those 2 areas are a mix between manufactured homes and site-built homes. It's in a county island. And so that area, because it's in a county island, has septic systems and city water. It used to have quite a few rentals in there, but it was very affordable. Okay. Now it's still fairly affordable, but it's come up because prices have come up, and you have a lot more owner occupieds in there just because it doesn't pencil out with what you can get rents. You're running about a 4.5% return on investment, and investors want more than that because they can get more in the stock market. So those are the areas with no HOA in Prescott Valley. There's one more area, and then we'll go to a commercial break. It's in Poito Valley. Now, we call it Poito Valley because I don't know why. The street is called Viewpoint, and it turns to Poito Valley. But as you go up Viewpoint to the north, they're all in acreage, 2-acre minimums in there. But there is nothing to keep you from doing anything. You can do a manufactured home. You can do a site-built home. It's a hodgepodge in there. Really, really good wells in that area off Poito. I've never heard of a bad well off Poito. Not once. They're all high producing and just a great place to have acreage for a lesser price. It's a little cheaper there because of the mix between manufactured and custom homes, okay? So we're gonna end right there, take a commercial break, come back to me, and we'll talk about the limited associations that are in Prescott Valley that have usually a road maintenance agreement kind of thing. They still have some rules and regulations, but most of the associations run anywhere between $250 to $600 a year. Not a whole lot. So after this commercial break, we'll be right back to talk about the associations with limited services right here on MoveEnomics.
Everyone knows the power of social media and the impact a strong online presence has in this day and age. But most real estate agents simply do not have the time to manage all the advertising and marketing details, and that's where the Power Is Now Media steps in. We are the answer you have been looking for. Let us help put your brand on the map. We will create customized graphics for weekly full-page ads, social media content, video, and podcast content for you. Sound complicated and expensive? It is affordable and easy. We have the best experts on the job. Go to thepowerisnow.com and find us under the VIP Agent tab to learn more. This is the future of real estate. Join today. thepowerisnow.com.
Welcome back to MoveEnomics. This is part 2 of the rest of the subdivisions in Prescott Valley that are either minimal services or no services. So let's dig in. I'm going to start off with the 3 gated communities in Prescott Valley that have limited services. We're going to start off first off with Park Ridge. Now, Park Ridge is located in Viewpoint. Viewpoint is a subdivision in of itself, and inside that is a small little community with about 60 houses that is gated. You pay $600 a year for a gate and a small little park in the middle. Nice area, all custom homes and tile roofs. It's a great place to live. Next one, we're going to talk about Prescott Ridge. Now, the ridge gets you confused, I know, but it's called Prescott Ridge. That's located almost across from the racetrack on 89A going towards Jerome. And this subdivision is unique. It's 10-acre minimums. All the houses in there are custom, but what's interesting is the minimum square footage is only 1,650 square feet. Although there's no homes in there, there's 1,650 square feet, maybe 1, maybe 2. The rest of them run around 3,000 square feet. So they're pretty nice estates. One of the nicest areas in Prescott Valley, beautiful views, nice privacy, great horse setups, a lot of times in there. So again, Prescott Ridge, great place to go with 10-acre minimum lots, gated community, $600 a year. The next one is called Copperfield. Now, remember I told you about Park Ridge? Copperfield, interesting enough, is in the county. And if you go down the street, which is called Park Ridge, You'll get to the gates, and it's a 4-acre minimum in there. So the houses sit on 4 acres, beautiful custom homes. I think 2150 is the main minimum square footage in there. A lot of people building houses in there right now. Super great well area in Copperfield. And the association is only $83 a month, and that covers just the roads. But they do pave all of their roads in Copperfield, which is nice. And also Park Ridge paves all their roads. Now let's talk about non-gated areas with minimal associations that are not on a couple acres of land. So Viewpoint North is located to the north of 89A, and it's the very far north section of that area called Viewpoint. They have an association of only $110 a year. That's it. And what you get for the $110 a year is they can tell you that you can't rent it out. So Viewpoint North does not allow rentals. This is important for investors to know. A lot of agents that don't know what they're doing and don't ask the question will sell a property in there to an investor, and they try to rent it out, and the HOA will say, sorry, can't do that. Bad idea. Now, Viewpoint West and Viewpoint East are two other ones. Now, Viewpoint East is, of course, on the east side of Viewpoint, and it's only $100 a year. Rentals are allowed in there, 1/4-acre lots, custom homes, RV parking is allowed. And then you also have Viewpoint West, which is only $69 a year. Catch me on that one, a year, not a month. Very, very minimal, all three of these, under $110 a year. All three areas do allow RV parking, which a lot of associations don't when you're on 1/4-acre lots, but these ones do. Okay, so that's important to remember. Now, we're going to go back out to the east towards Mingus West. Mingus West is on a little bit east towards where Prescott Ridge was, kind of across and a little bit to the east of the racetrack. Mingus West are 4/10 of an acre lots, all custom homes in there. It's the RV parking mecca. It's about 15 to 20 minutes from downtown Prescott Valley. And the association there is only $95 a year, not a month, a year. And it's a well-kept neighborhood. It's like a custom home neighborhood without everybody sticking their thumb on you. Now, each association will, of course, have the rules, like you got to run paint colors past them. You put up a shed, you're still going to have to run it past them. But they're all pretty chill. They don't stick their nose in your business, and it's pretty good. There's one next to Mingus West, which is a new community called Morningstar, and they're building new homes there. They're 4/10 of an acre lots. Now, remember in Morningstar with the new homes there, they don't include the fence. That's an additional expense, and that gets a little pricey on a 4/10 of an acre lot. Their association is only $165 a quarter, so it's a little bit more, and they have a little bit more restrictions than Mingus West, but they do allow RV parking as well. Now, let's move into some of the county areas that have acreage lots that are not gated, but are really nice custom homes on 2 acres, okay? Legend Hills first, very far east of Prescott Valley. They call that the Prescott of Prescott Valley because Prescott Valley sits in a bowl. On the west is Prescott. Up against the hills, you get some great views. On the east is Legend Hills. So one's looking to the west and one's looking to the east. So Legend Hills has a lot of great views in there. The main road territory is paved, but the offshoot roads are considered to be privately maintained between you and your neighbors, which often are gravel. Not always, but often. The association in there is only $340 a year. And again, you can have cows, you can have horses, you can have chickens. Actually, cows, maybe not. You got to check on that one. But horses, yes. Chickens, yes. But a nice association with really nice custom homes. Prices range anywhere from about $700 on the low to around $1.5 million in there. Next, we're going to look at Saddle View. Saddle View is just a little to the west of Legend Hills. It sits in a bowl, so the views are looking up at the mountains, not over the valley. They're okay, decent well area in there. Custom homes ranging anywhere from $700 to $1.1 million. Main roads paved, same rules apply. Association $300 a year, pretty cheap. The reason why these associations exist, by the way, on these acreage properties is because they learned that most people hate dirt roads. And so the associations exist to have a paved road so you're not driving on dirt and you still have acreage and enjoying the neighborhood more and having a little bit of control so you don't get some trashy house in the neighborhood. Okay. All site builts are required in these subdivisions, by the way. You cannot put a manufactured home in there. You cannot put a yurt in there. It has to be a site built home, usually over 1,850 square feet is the minimums in most of these subdivisions. Some are more, some are less. You have to talk to a professional who knows what they're doing. Now, let's talk about Coyote Crest. Coyote Crest is just again to the west of Saddleview. They have 2 acre minimums in there, $300 a year. Very similar story. Lonesome Valley is off of Coyote Springs on the east side of the road. Their association is only $311 a year. Animals are okay. And remember, all these properties are going to have propane tanks because they don't have natural gas. They're too far apart for a unisource gas to make any money. Okay. Lonesome Valley, their wells are a little bit hit or miss. Some are good, some are not so good. Okay. Ventura Ranch is just past Lonesome Valley to the east. Very nice custom neighborhood. They have some pretty hefty restrictions in there. So it's not one of those that don't put the thumb on you. They have some pretty good restrictions on what they require for homes to be built in there, but the homes are gorgeous. They have some beautiful homes in there. Again, 2 acre minimum. They have a private water company. So you can have a private water company in there on some of the lots, not all of them. So you know you're always going to have water because once you get a private water company, it now becomes regulated by the state of Arizona. So it has to be a certain quality and they have to provide water. Even if their wells run dry, they're going to have to provide you water. Okay. Now, let's talk about 4 more and we'll wrap this bad boy up. Prescott Prairie is towards the end of Mummy View. Prescott Prairie are, again, custom homes, $200 to $240 a year. They're pretty loose when it comes to what they demand. You can do cows, you can do chickens, you can do horses, you can do goats, and they're all custom houses with some decent views. Mingus Meadows is just a little to the north of Prescott Prairie. Mingus Meadows has really good wells. I've never heard of a well in Mingus Meadow go dry. I think they're usually running 35 gallons a minute when they dig them. That one runs $450 a year. The main roads are paved. Some of the offshoot roads are paved, but they're supposed to be maintained by the individual property owners. You can have horses and chickens, no goats, no cows in that one. Next, we'll talk about Antelope Meadows. Antelope Meadows is a little bit to the west of Mummy View, which there's a road called Antelope Meadows. That one has acreage anywhere from 2 to 5 to 10, depending on where it's at. It's a required acreage minimum. Those properties, they will be a mix between manufactured homes and site-built homes, good well area. Also, we need to talk about Coyote Springs. Coyote Springs, which is the main road leading up to Mingus Meadows, Prescott Prairie, and Lonesome Valley, those are 10 acre minimums in there. And you can't split it. It has to be 10 acres. So it looks really rural and feels like you're in the country, even though you're still 25 minutes from town. It's not too bad. Remember, we don't have any traffic. The last one is HF Windmill Ranch. That one is located on the west side of Viewpoint, just past Poito. Great wells, custom houses, main road paved, offshoot roads are dirt. But again, pretty loose when it comes to what they require. They're only $180 a year. I just overwhelmed you with a boatload of information. So wake up, first of all. And we talked about, remember, gated communities with minimal associations, associations that have no gate but are in the city. And we talked about associations that are on acreage out in the county, which may or may not have good wells. The main thing you need to remember is your go-to source for anything in Prescott and Prescott Valley is Peter Fife here at Movenomics with Coldwell Banker Northland. My phone number is 928-636-7000. My email is peter@listingprescott.com. So you know what I'm going to say is thank you for joining me on Movenomics today, where Prescott is everybody's hometown. Make sure you share what you've seen with all your friends, because this is a wealth of information you're not going to find anywhere else out there. So like me on Facebook, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and follow me on X. I would love to have your time, and thanks for spending the time with me today.
The Power Is Now magazines are the leading resource for real estate agents, mortgage bankers, entrepreneurs, and small home ownership businesses, providing leaders with business strategy information, resources, and tools through PIN, Real Estate, Programming Guide magazines. Stay up to the minute with real estate news and information from industry experts. Subscription is free. Sign up today. ThePowerisNow.com. ThePowerisNow.com.